So today we have two advisors, LPs that are in our fund, and they are going to be Angelo Del Duca, which hopefully the community is quite familiar with, as he has been a supporter and part of our business for almost since it started. So thank you, Angelo, for being here today. And of course, Jeff, who we just gave the introduction to. Both you gentlemen, thank you very much for attending and being part of this today. So the way the process will work today is there will be 4 companies that will be pitching, and they will be providing a 5-minute pitch. And then Angelo and Jeff will provide 1 minute each of feedback for that company.
Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Ram. I'm the co-founder of Lyrha, and we design video synthesizers for live events. So we've all been to concerts and live performances, not recently of course, but we've all seen video footage like this one. Now this was amazing back in the 80s, but it's kind of lost its flavor and touch over the few years that it's been in use. And that's the main problem that VJs face. These are the DJs of live video. So they're responsible for creating visuals for a live performance. And what they're lacking is software technology. So they do have modern, powerful hardware available to them to make amazing visuals, but what they're using in terms of software is relatively outdated. It's expensive, time-consuming to learn, and a lot of times they're forced to render video content offline. My company, Lyrha, designs and builds a new generation of video synthesizers for live performances for this purpose, and our focus is real-time rendering, simple and flexible user interfaces, as well as cost and time efficiency. So the overall market is the live electronic music market, which is growing at a rate of 4% steadily every year, and the projection is to reach a value of 9 billion by 2022. Our company focuses real-time rendering, which is the process of taking user input as well as AI-powered analysis of the type of music playing in a venue in order to generate and tweak visuals on the fly. So the advantage of this process is that we don't rely on any sort of process for offline rendering, so we don't limit the live experience in any shape or form. Our products are designed for simplicity. We emulate physical gear with our user interfaces, and it's very easy to pick it up and learn for the user. Overall, VJs spend less money on better, more powerful software, and they spend less time preparing for more gigs with our products, which is a guarantee that they're going to stay in business for a longer period of time, and they'll have a higher turnover rate. Our revenue model is based on an annual software license fee, and we also have a subscription model for support and software maintenance. And the keynote here is that we have built-in streaming over the network and also seamless integration with VR, which will allow us to adapt to any shifts and changes brought on by the recent COVID-19 pandemic. Overall, we've introduced a few products to the market. We have active users, and our latest launch in January is bringing in about 30 new users every single month. A little bit about the market. This VJ software market is relatively fresh, and our main advantage is that we're not in direct competition with the big players. These are companies like Resolume and VDMX that have been around for a while, but they're focused on pre-rendered video content. We compete directly with companies like Touch Designer, Lumen, and Synesthesia, and these companies don't have the same UI simplicity that we bring to the table. A lot of times they require coding experience, which can really reduce productivity, especially for someone just starting out. So our goal with our next product launch is to reach a revenue of 200,000 and 1,000 customers by the end of year one, eventually hitting a target of 2 million in revenue and 10,000 customers. We've raised 20,000 in seed funds in 2019, and our next goal is 200,000. And our current goals are to invest into research and development of video technology and AI tools for audio processing, and also to protect what we have in terms of intellectual property using patents. A little bit about my team. There are two of us at the moment. I'm an engineer from Waterloo. I have experience in special effects and 4D cinema. I worked at companies like Cimex, and I've done projects with Disney and Fox. And my partner Puriya is an MBA graduate from Schulich. He's the business developer and analyst. We work closely with Communitech out of Kitchener, and we have various advisors from Waterloo in the field of AI, video, and audio, which are very key fields for us. That's my company, Lyrha, and we design and build the next generation of video synthesizers for live events with focus on real-time generative visuals, simple and flexible user interfaces, as well as cost and time efficiency. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. My contact information is here. Feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Rohan, thank you very much for that. Good job.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, I'm going to include Jeff, so you can jump in.
Okay.
Jeff, good to go.
Yeah, you can hear me now?
You can.
Okay. Great presentation. Considering I know nothing about this product in this space, after a 5-minute presentation, I actually feel like I understand exactly what you're making, what you're doing, and a little bit about the space. So you know what, that doesn't happen to me too often when I get such a short presentation about a product in a space I don't know. So you know what, technically, fantastic presentation. Basically, I think the only places I'd like to see some changes for the next pitch is definitely on the numbers, and also about IP protection. Typically, when something like this comes up, you know, I guess what I want to understand is the full model. You talked about, you know, an annual software license of between $50 and $200 a year, but I'm assuming they also have to buy a piece of equipment. So I guess I would want to understand that better. Do they have to buy some equipment? If so, what's the cost? What's your margin on that piece of equipment? And, you know, where's it being built? You know, just a quick blurb on that. Like JP says, you know, you can handle this all in one slide. You got to buy this unit. It's made here. Here's our gross margin. And then we're going to have this annual recurring revenue, which all angel investors love to hear, between $50 and $200 a year. And then follow it up with, and yes, there are competitors in this space. And, you know, this is how we are really different from our competitor, which I think you touched on a little bit, which was good. And then the other thing angel investors are going to want to hear on something like this is, okay, well, this is cool, but if we're investing and we're running ahead, what's to stop somebody from ripping you off? So, you know, like I say, technically fantastic. Just give me a little bit more, 1 or 2 more slides on the economics of the unit, how you're planning to sell it. I think that was really missing there as to how you're really going to go out and sell this. And then, you know, if IP protection is there, you know, have you applied for a patent? Is there one? Is it not patentable? Just a little bit on that. But like I say, other than that, technically, fantastic presentation.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Angelo, you're up.
I'm up. You can't see me, but yo, I like this. So good job, Rohan.
Thank you.
I think you've identified and hit on the problem that exists out there. But I think you need to go, even though it's really critical, having a UX that is easy to engage with is wonderful, but you need to identify how it's going to be sustainable in the long run with your customer base. And you touched on why why you're better than them, but it wasn't clear to me how sustainable that was going to be moving forward. You may be actually teaching them what they need to do to correct their current offerings, right? So one thing to think about is, what's your strategy on sustainability of maintaining your advantage over all of the others? The other thing, you talk about growth, and growth is wonderful. What we also like to know is what your churn is. So, it's, I have to be fair. You probably don't have the runway to have a good handle on that. But one gauge would be, are you able to sign your customers up for multi-year contracts as opposed to one-year contract? And if they're at 1 year, how long will they be around beyond that? So just looking at more of the financial modeling and more details on how you fuel your growth. But other than that, I like it. Love the graphics. So by the way, if you didn't have great graphics, you really would have a credibility issue here. But good job, and I hope you much success, and look forward to connecting with you in the future.
Thank you, Angelo.
Thank you, Rohan. Very well done. So we're going to jump to the next one, just to keep it on some review back. So I think some high level, just emphasizing if on the product design, and if it is a product, if it's going to be if it's going to be predominantly just a digital interface, if there's going to be any hardware, what the costs are associated with that, just letting everybody better understand that component to it. And of course, then getting into your sales strategy. How are you going after these markets to be able to acquire these DJs and technicians around North America, but worldwide, and then being able to tie in some metrics around that. But outside that, those are just some points to keep in mind. But thank you very much, Rohan.
Thank you, Jeff. Perfect.